Hello. Now, this story is from the early 2000s. I had gone on a small trek with a new group, so most people there were strangers to me. Now, I was at that time a little more than just an amateur trekker, so I knew a few of the basics and I knew a few things about, trekking in the mountains. So I was trying to help people wherever possible when we had to negotiate some tricky bits. And there was this specific place where there was a steep incline and it was a slippery one as well. So I was trying to help as many people, negotiate that as possible. And there was this little girl, about 6 years of age. Her name was Riddhi, and she was at the base of that slope, and I was trying to help people. So I just put out my hand and offered to help her. She just paused and gave me this glare as she walked past me, as if she was walking in a park. I was pretty astonished as to how easily she negotiated that slope, because most people were struggling with it. And her father, who followed her, smiled at me and gave me a little pat on the shoulder, saying, "Don't mind her. She's probably trekked more mountains than you have seen in your life. She's been around the world and she's pretty good at this. So just know that, and don't be offended." I smiled, and I wasn't offended in the least, but I was super amazed at how she'd done it. So I managed to, talk to the kid later and made friends with her. And in fact, for the next couple of hours that we were there in those mountains, she actually taught me a bunch of things about trekking. So she taught me about being able to identify various different kinds of terrain, and how to negotiate various different situations. So it was a lot of fun, and frankly, I learned a lot from her, a lot. And I kind of, have carried that forward with me to this day. So a lot of those little tips that she gave me, I still do remember and apply whenever I go, trekking anytime. Now, when I think back and look at such incidents, I realize that there have been so many different occasions and incidents where I have been able to learn from people and situations where I did not anticipate that kind of learning. And I was lucky to have garnered or gathered that learning because I was open to it. So it's so important to be able to put yourself in the receiving position where you have something to gain, even though on the face of it there might not be as much. This reminds me of a little quote that my grandmother had once told me about. This one's in Hindi, which is the national language of India, and a regional language from here. The local language of the country. So I will also explain the meaning in English. But the quote goes, "Nanak nanhe hoye raho, jaisi nanni doob, aur rook sookh jayenge, doob khoob ki khoob," which literally means, "Oh Nanak, be humble, just like the grass, which is small and humble always. The other trees and plants might wither away in the storm, but the grass always remains evergreen." I'm sorry. So it's such a beautiful learning that humility is what gets you more opportunities to learn. It's as if we are all like tumblers, each one of us filled with our own share of experiences. So you never know when you will be in a position to learn from someone else, for someone to pour into your tumbler from theirs. What matters is how open you are to receiving. And once you understand this concept, it's just the possibilities are just infinite as to how much you can, gather or collect in your own tumbler. So that was that. I think there's some beautiful learning in this. Tell me if you think so too. And again, if you have similar stories, if you have had similar experiences in any way, give me a comment or two, and let me see if I can talk about those or add to those in some way. Like always, thank you for listening in, and I appreciate your time. I will see you when I see you. Have a good one, folks.